Ironically, I actually moved to Nashville to work in the Nashville fashion industry. I worked for the designer Manuel. He is every bit of what you've heard about him and what you have seen from him. He is an absolute character. And so I moved here to intern with him. And so I interned with him for about 6 months, and then he hired me on full time. And I worked for 2.5 years with him. And that is how I met Eric Adler, who has become one of my greatest and closest friends. And he and I both worked for Manuel during the same time. And then after we kind of wrapped up with Manuel, he decided he wanted to launch his own clothing line. And so I kind of transitioned to start working with him as well. I no longer work with him, but I do fully support and help him whenever I can. When I was 9, my mom passed away from a very long, hard battle with breast cancer. Her mother passed away before I was born, also from breast cancer. To get the testing done, you have to talk to a genetic counselor. And I think it's safe to say that the genetic counselor hadn't really ever encountered or talked to someone like me. So it came back positive, and it was the BRCA2 genetic mutation. So it's a heightened risk of breast cancer. So it was a 50-50 chance that I would end up getting breast cancer. And so at that age, and given where the surgery, the double mastectomy reconstruction surgery was, I decided to not go ahead and opt for it. Also, with most breast doctors and most breast surgeons encourage you to at least wait until you're 25. Then kind of, shit hit the fan. And there's a lot going on in healthcare right now that is scary, especially for women. And so I kind of then decided to go back to that discussion and have it with my doctors and see what had changed. And a lot had changed. Unless you are already diagnosed with breast cancer, you do get to keep the nipple, and you do get to keep the lymph nodes. So yay! I had the surgery in February. And it was really funny because everyone told me, they're like, don't look at it. Whatever you do, do not look at, don't take your bandages off and just don't look at it. So I was just like, I had to shower. And so we took the bandages off, and my stepmom was just like, okay, so were you looking? And I was just like, yeah, duh. Why would I not? And I just kind of looked down, and I was just like, it's exactly the same as it was before. Because I was very flat-chested. So that was in February. Once a week I would go in, and they would put 60 cc's of salt water into my chest, into my implant, my fake implant, my pre-implant. People call them boulders. They were. I would hug people, and they'd be like, oh my God, I can feel it. And I'm like, yeah, they're that hard. I decided I was just like, okay, I'll be a C. I'll go to a C. I was like a B-ish. I'll go to a C. It'll be fine. It'll be great. I'll get a little bit of a boob job out of this. Well, the second to last pump up session, I was just like, I looked up and I was just like, oh my God, they're huge. I was terrified. I was just like, what have I done? They're so big. They're so big. And I went over to my friend's house and put on one of her bras, and it was a C, and didn't even fill it out. And she was just like, Rachel, they're not that big. I was like, thanks. A lot of people have been like, oh my God, why didn't you go to double D's and da-da-da-da, and all this emphasis on huge boobs. I'm just like, no, it's not me. So actually during the last pump up session, it hit a nerve in my back. I actually went and saw my best friend who's a doctor, and I was just like, so my back feels like it's on fire. Is there something going on back there? And she was like, no, it's just sitting on a nerve and it's pinching it. For me, that was the hardest part. I've had knee surgeries before, so the actual mastectomy surgery wasn't terrible. It was the pump-up sessions that were really, really painful. So some doctors will do a double mastectomy and a reconstruction at the same time. Most, including mine, don't like to do that because if they went in and put a full plastic implant on something that has just had this huge trauma, the risk of infection is a lot greater. 6 weeks ago was the reconstruction surgery. So they put the implant in, and then to make sure that the skin wasn't directly on the implant, they also took fat, harvested fat, which aka was liposuction. The recovery of that one has been a lot easier. I'm fully recovered. So after the last surgery, ironically, a lot of people would be like, oh, you had liposuction, you got a boob job. Like, you must feel way more confident after that. I did, but not at all for the reasons that I thought I would. I had no love for my boobs because I thought they were ticking time bombs. Now it's more of I'm very proud of them. I now have that I'm very comfortable. My fake non-cancerous tits that I can't feel have actually made me feel so much more confident about my cellulite ass. They, for me, symbolize the fact that I took control of something that I could take control of, and I'm very proud of that. But, like, the fashion industry is so discriminatory. Like, I worked for the designer Manuel. He's kind of his own little bubble, and he's how the fashion industry used to be. He's a tailor. He meets with his customers. He designs for them. He designs with them. He measures them so his clothes fit them, not you fit into the clothes. And same with Eric. I loved that. I would never want to move and work for a designer who didn't hold those same values. And I think that is what the show and the designers that are showing in the show and the culture that you have created for the show, I think that is what is showcased here. We are boundless. Body.
Yeah, body.
Body.
Yeah, but people say everybody. I say no.
No, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Fashion is for everybody.
There you go.